The parry mechanic in Battlefront 2 doesn't actually exist. It doesn't exist. It is a glitch. It is not meant to be in the game. The reason why they haven't patched it is because they are more than likely trying to figure out how it works and trying to fix it. Just like what they did with Grievous, they took them a year to fix him because most of the time they're figuring out on how to fix him. That's how they're doing it. They're probably figuring out how to make it so that you take damage, but they also take damage as well. So that it's like two things. So like you take damage and they take damage. To go along with the look when you're quote unquote parrying. Not even a parry. It's more or less a counter. Take Batman Arkham for example. A counter is exactly what is going on in the game. You press triangle to counter, just as an example, and they try to punch you. You press counter, you grab them, and you hit them back. Or you just straight up hit them back. That is exactly what's going on. You're not taking damage, but they are. That is exactly what's going on. You hit them, but they don't hit you. Not a parry, in which a parry is where you stun them. And like take For Honor for example. You literally block their attack and push them out of the way. You make it so that they are open for an attack. Also, just like Jedi Fallen Order, you parry a creature, it leaves them open for an attack. You parry a Stormtrooper, it leaves them open for an attack. It's not, oh yeah, I parried them, so I did damage, they didn't do damage to me. That is not at all what a parrying is. And plus, going by the definition of the word parry, a verb, ward off, a weapon or attack with a counter move. He parried my blow by holding his sword vertically. Deflect, hold off, block, avert, counter, rebuff, repel, repulse. Now when it says counter, it's not meaning that you hit them and they hit you back and you take no damage and they take damage. That is not what's going on here. Counter, when they mean by counter, is they're about to strike you. So you literally lift up your weapon or move your weapon to block them and push them away. That is exactly what they're meaning by counter right now. That's what they're meaning by counter. It's not, oh yeah, I'm gonna counter them, so I'm gonna hit them while they're hitting me, so that's how that works. No. They're gonna block it, push them off, and then leave them open for a counterattack, aka another hit. This is exactly what goes on with fencing. It's a parry. They start to strike you, you hit their weapon with your weapon, and you push them away to leave them open for an attack. This is exactly what Dooku would do if he was actually, you know, made to pretty much be fencing in this game. He would be blocking and parrying like a madman, but he's not. And nothing in this game indicates parrying. It's just a counter. And actually, it's not even a counter. It's just a glitch. It shouldn't even be in the game. Should it be a mechanic in the game? Yes. Should it look better? Yes. Should it actually be a parry? Yes. Not being a counter. And then the retards just call it parry. It's not a parry. It is not a parry. Same with the quote-unquote roll parry, which is just when you roll when they're about to strike you so you don't get hit. Do I need to tell you what's wrong with that statement? It is not a parry. It is an evasion. It's evading. That is exactly what's going on here. If someone tries to hit me with a sword and I roll behind them, I'll then hit him in the back. That is an evade followed by a counterattack. That is not a roll parry. That's not how that works. You can't just put parry in front of every single word and say that it's a game mechanic in a word. It's not. Say if I throw my lightsaber and I call, oh no, it's a throwing lightsaber parry. Doesn't really work now, does it? Oh yeah, I just fired my blaster, so it's a blaster parry. No, it's not. This is what makes me ashamed to be a part of this community, where they literally don't even know the definition of the words, and they just use it without any context. Oh yeah, it's a roll parry, even though it's just an evasion. If you said it was a roll parry, and like he literally kicked the lightsaber out of their hands, or pushed them away with while doing the roll, then yeah, sure, that probably would constitute as a roll parry. But it's not. It's literally just you rolling on the ground, and then just striking at the air and not doing anything. That's not a parry. That's just an evasion. But when you also say it's a parry mechanic in this game, it comes across that you are a retard who doesn't know what words mean. Because anyone who knows what the definition of parry is, and you say, oh yeah, you need to learn how to parry them, they're gonna be like, it's not a parry, you retard. Learn it. Good explanations of games that have parry mechanics. Dark Souls, Jedi Fallen Order, For Honor. Those games have good parry mechanics that are actually parries, because all three of those games require you to block at the perfect right time to push them away with a block. To block their weapon, push them away, leaving them open for a counterattack. That is exactly what's going on in those games. But not in this game, to where you literally just, oh yeah, I just hit them and they hit me, so I take no damage but they take damage. That is literally not even constituting a word even counter, but it more qualifies as the word counter. Because you see that they're about to attack you, so you counter with your own strike to hit them. Now, if this was in a real life context, and not in this buggy game, now you would take damage from both strikes. He would take damage from your strike, you would take damage from his strike. Not he would take damage from your strike and you don't take damage from his strike. Now, but see, look, with a parry, what happens there is that no one takes damage from a strike because you don't strike them. What happens is that say someone with a lightsaber is gonna strike me in the head, and I lift up my lightsaber to block it, and then push him away. Either meaning by pushing his lightsaber away or kicking him to get him away. That is a parry, because you're stunning them and also blocking at the same time, aka warding off. Now, am I saying that everyone who uses the word parry in this game's context is a retard? Mainly when you're saying roll parry. If you say roll parry, you are retarded, straight up retarded. Because even retarded people can know the difference between an evading and a roll parry. Because roll parries don't exist and evasions do. But if you're saying that you're using a parry, like say you're a Battlefront YouTuber telling people how to use it, that's just you using the name of the thing, because people just don't understand English, apparently. See, look what I just did to that boss. Look what I just did to that Obi-Wan. I was, quote unquote, parrying him. That was just a counterattack. It's not even... How do people come up with these definitions? How? How retarded do people need to be to say a glitch is a game mechanic, and said glitch is a parry, yet it's not even a parry? And how do you go and say a roll is a parry? That is the definition of what a parry is not. How? How do people come up with this stuff? It comes across as a whole new line of stupid when you say that. Just straight up, if you say there's a roll parry, you are stupid. There's no measurable distance to fathom how stupid you are. You are off the scale of stupidness. Straight up. There is no roll parry. There is no parry. There is only a counterattack and an evasion. Those are the only two techniques. One of them's a bug, and the other one is a main game mechanic for Blast Heroes to survive. So, stop putting words that don't make sense in calling them game mechanics, even when they're bugs. Just stop it. Like, seriously. And to anyone who has to rely on the quote-unquote parry or roll parry, you need to just stop playing the game, honestly. If you rely on it and you can't do well without it, you need to just learn how to play the game or stop playing it. Because we really don't have room for retards who don't know how to play the game. And who have no triumph to try to get better at the game. Who only uses glitches and bugs and other things to get an advantage. We don't need people like that. We don't.